Lahore Primary School, Quetta, lesson by Faiza Shah for grade 7. The story has been taken from the reader Time and Tide. The topic is Jason and the Argonauts, and the component is comprehension. So, before we start the introduction of the lesson, let me tell you that this story is very close to my childhood. My parents bought me this book when I was 10 years old, and it is just amazing. From the skeletons coming out of nowhere, and from the fire breathing dragons, and from the monsters and the supernatural, the story is never ending, and you never get tired of reading it repeatedly. Now, Jason and the Argonauts is a story of heroic deeds taken from Greek mythology. It was written over 2000 years ago by the Greek poet and storyteller Apollonius. Although Jason's adventure on his epic quest were make believe, the lands he lived in and seas he sailed were real. His voyage was the first expedition by sea to the east. The structure of the story is similar to that of many other legends. A youth must perform an impossible task without complaining, even though the task is imposed by an enemy. Jason showed that he was a true epic hero. He eagerly faced the dangers of the journey and conflicts with monsters and other supernatural beings that were considered very real in the Greek civilization. After looking at the map, it is easy to see why the sea was important to the Greeks. Their history told how far afield they traveled and conquered. Part of their greatness lay in the fact that they utilized what they found elsewhere. The map in the story will show you how Jason crossed the Mediterranean Sea in order to complete the impossible quest. Now, the summary of the lesson is divided into three parts. The first part tells us where the golden fleece came from, what is a golden fleece. The second one will tell us who Jason is, where he came from, why is he after the golden fleece, and the third will tell us, the third part of the story of the lesson will tell us why is if Jason succeeds in his voyage or not. So, the story of the Golden Fleece. According to the Greek myth, just as Phrixus, son of a Greek king, was about to be sacrificed to end the famine, a ram covered with golden fleece flew away with both Phrixus and his sister Helle clinging to its back. Now, Phrixus was a son of a Greek king. He was not supposed to be sacrificed. It was not their custom to sacrifice a prince, but the wicked stepmother, the queen, she bribed the soothsayer who was to predict the future for the kings and the queens, for the royalties. She bribed him and made him tell the wrong prediction so that her son can take over the kingdom after the king. So that is why she made the soothsayer say this, that if we sacrifice a prince, the famine will end. But that was not true. So that is why the gods sent the ram to save both Phrixus and his sister Helle. The pronunciation of this name Helle has been taken from German name Helle because it spells the same. However, Helle lost her hold and drowned in the strait between Europe and Asia, which was long called the Hellespont in her honor. Phrixus offered the ram's body to Zeus to thank God for saving him. He hung the golden fleece in a sacred grove guarded by a fire-breathing dragon. So this is the golden fleece. It is magical, and that is why Jason is after him. Let's see what happened next. The search begins. In this part, we're going to talk about who Jason is and why is he after the golden fleece. Jason, son of a king and heir to the throne, seized by his uncle King Pelias. King Pelias had been told by a soothsayer that he would lose his throne to a man who entered the kingdom wearing one sandal. This man was Jason. He lost his sandal wading across a stream on his way to claim the throne that rightly belonged to him. King Pelias agreed to give up the kingdom if Jason would bring him the golden fleece. Wicked Pelias felt sure Jason would lose his life in this quest, but Jason accepted the challenge. He had a ship built which he called Argo after Argus the builder, and all the heroes of Greece came to share Jason's adventure. They became known as the Argonauts. These Argonauts joined in the voyage by the sons of the North Wind, which I'm going to tell you who they are, had many strange adventures. Jason proceeded with his Argonauts and claimed the golden fleece and won back his kingdom. Okay, now let's see how the adventure went. Jason has started his journey in his ship named Argo. It had 50 oars, 25 on each side. His crew members are great heroes of Greece, and among them were the sons of the North Wind, who had mighty wings growing out of their shoulder blades. They went through many dangers and overcome before they reached the land of the Golden Fleece. One of the strangest of their adventures began when they visited a famous hero named Phineas. Phineas was cursed by one of the gods for upsetting him. In his old age, he had become blind, but worse than this, evil and foul feathered birds called harpies won't let him eat. As soon as he would start eating, the harpies flew down the sky, seized all they could, and spoiled the rest. A terrible stench followed them, enough to sicken anyone who smelt it. Phineas was slowly starving to death because of the harpies. However, it had been foretold many years before that such a man could only be saved by the sons of the North Wind. And came the day when he heard that the Greeks have arrived. He reached where the Argo was tied, uh, but he collapsed of hunger and weakness. Later, he told them of his trouble and asked them about the sons of the Northwind, the, to which the brothers came forward and agreed to help poor Phineas. In return, Phineas agreed on telling them of the kingdoms and the dangers ahead of them. Jason told him that they are on their way to Calchas in search of the Golden Fleece. The Argonauts cunningly prepared a feast to lure the harpies so that the brothers could kill them. As soon as the meat was placed in front of Phineas, the harpies attacked. Just then the brothers leaped into the air with their mighty wings spread and swords drawn at the harpies, when Iris, the messenger of Zeus, appeared and swore upon the river Styx that the harpies will never bother Phineas again. So that's how the harpies was not killed, but they were gone. Now Phineas could enjoy the feast. Phineas happily told Jason that in order to reach Calchas, they must row between the clashing rocks. Now, what are the clashing rocks? These are two floating islands, which the sea current pushes together and then pulls apart over and over again. He then offered to give them a dove for the test. If she can fly between the rocks, then they can risk the journey further. For several days, they smoothly sailed until they heard a terrible sound as if two worlds had crashed together. A dreadful chill struck into their hearts. Just then, Jason set the dove free to see if the dove can fly through the crashing rocks, and so it did. The Argonauts started rowing. They were afraid though, but they rowed and successfully crossed the rocks and faced many more dangers after that, finally reaching Calchas. Jason, after many more adventures and dangers, escaped with treasure and the Golden Fleece. He also won back his kingdom and made the prophecy come true about the man with one sandal. Now, this is quite a precise story of Jason and the Argonauts. If you want to read the whole story, it is just amazing because here, as you can see, it keeps on telling about many adventures and many dangers that they escaped. So those many dangers and adventures they escaped is worth reading. This is all. Now, you need to find me the meaning and make sentence of the following words. It's alter, straight, air, wade, stumbled, smother, harbor, faltering, descended, prophecy, splinters, tiller, sagging. Please look at the question answer that you need to answer. Who was Pelias? Where could Jason find the Golden Fleece? Who was Phineas and why was he unfortunate? How did the North Wind sons help Phineas? Summarize the journey of Calchas. I hope, boys and girls, that you enjoyed the story the way I did when I was 10 years old. I'll see you around soon. You take care. Stay home. Stay safe. Bye bye.